Hey everybody, how's it going? It is me, TRG, back with another video. I know it's been a while since I've published anything. Part of the reason why is because I'm making my annual pilgrimage to China. I work remotely out of here for 6 months, or more or less 5 or 6 months, and I return back to Vancouver for 5 or 6 months. You can tell that I'm in my hotel room. There's my king bed right behind me. Um, and I don't really have a particular theme for this video. I just wanted to give you guys a life update as to what's going on. Um, Part of the reason I came back here is I got my Hong Kong ID, and it's been a long journey. I applied for it on my last trip in 2025. And I finally lined up the interviews, went to the interview, got my ID, went back to actually get the physical ID because they don't just print it for you right on the spot. You actually have to wait a week or two to be able to get it. And so that was a long trek to be able to do that. But I finally got it, and I'm so happy that I was able to get it. Not everyone obviously is eligible for it. I'm eligible because my parents were both born and raised there, so they have a special rule for that. But I thought I would just get it just to give myself options. So it's a really cool experience that I have it now. It's not something that I take for granted. It allows me to work, study, travel, and live essentially with restriction free in Hong Kong. It's called the right to land, and it's just one shy of the top tier, if you will, called right to abode, which makes you a permanent resident in Hong Kong. Um, you can lose your right to land status. So, for example, if I commit some kind of crime, which I knock on wood I won't, but if I do something shady and inappropriate, then I can have that right taken away from me. So I don't have voting rights as well. So Hong Kong, as far as I know, anyways, I don't know the political system here that well, but has some kind of voting system. You don't have abilities to vote. I think you lose some kind of benefits, although I could be wrong. I need to do some further research about like government subsidized medical or low income subsidized housing, stuff of that nature. But for the most part, if I applied for a job and they asked me, do we need to sponsor you? The answer is no, because I literally have this card now to be able to do that, which is super cool. Um, and it gives me some travel benefits by kind of like skipping the line. There's an e-channel line. I want to film this for you guys, but I can't because there's literally restrictions that say don't film anything in like the passport lines. But if you can imagine, like if you're normally lining up in a queue where there's a customs officer or sorry, immigration officer that's literally checking your passport, like why are you here? Are you here for tourist reasons? Do you have a proper visa? Blah blah blah, in order to let you into the country or deny you. There's literally a line on the side that almost has a turnstile where you just put your ID. They will facial scan you, most likely, and they know exactly who you are, right? And then they let you go. Or if they have problems, obviously they'll stop you. But it just speeds things along so much, especially when there's a big line for visitors, for foreigners. I can literally just zoom by, and then obviously in the China side, I still have to give my passport, but that's one rung that is eliminated for me. So that's a huge thing. Being back here, honestly, jet lag wasn't that big of a problem. First couple nights, I slept pretty early at probably like 8 a.m. Got up at like 8 p.m. Got up at like 3 a.m. My mom came to crash with me, not in this room, in another hotel, um, for probably about a week. So it was great to see her and spend time with her. But I finally adjusted a little bit. I'm getting up maybe a little bit later, and I'm going to bed maybe at about like 2 now, or after work, something like that. So that's really good. Um, my appetite didn't suffer too much. I got some rest on the plane, which was really good. Got actually quite a bit of sleep. Yeah, so it's been nice. I've been here since the 14th. No, maybe the 15th. So I want to say I've been here for about 2 weeks now. Yeah. Um, as for the city that I'm in, Zhuhai, which is literally next to Hong Kong and literally right next to Macau. And by literally right next to Macau, if you've seen some of my other clips, I mean walking distance to Macau. Like I can walk down the port, go to Macau, give my ID and everything like that, and then go into Macau. It will take 30 minutes, maybe, depending on how much I need to line up, and I'll be in Macau. And I took a day trip last weekend to be able to do that on Saturday. And it was fun. It was tiring for sure. And it took the whole day because I kind of just went around to different spots and hotels and stuff like that. But it was a really cool experience for me to go do that. Some of the touristy stuff, sit down and eat like Portuguese food and stuff. And I'm starting to really like Zhuhai just because it's so central to everything, which makes it really efficient to do a lot of things. I'm like I can go to Macau, I can go to Hong Kong. I've been to Hong Kong twice now, once with my mom, once by myself. And it's a little bit of a journey, probably 2.5 hours, but it's not impossible for me to do on my own anymore. Like I understand the route. You can do the same thing in Shenzhen, obviously, because Hong Kong is kind of surrounded by a couple places. But I'm talking about like pretty cheap, affordable ways to be able to do this, which is super cool. So I just think, and then food wise and language wise, let's maybe talk about that since we're on that theme. Food wise, because we're in the Canton province or Guangdong province, Canton area, and they have a ton of Macau and Hong Kong tourists that come through here for business and for pleasure. They really cater their food around Cantonese cuisine, or maybe it was just established to be here since that's the case. They're also surrounded by water, so there is access to the sea, so they do get seafood, and it's pretty inexpensive, like shrimp and stuff like that. And the costs aren't really that much. It is cheaper than Shenzhen for sure. I wouldn't say that it's cheap compared to other places in China, but it is still reasonably affordable going out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for sure. Yeah, hotels remain a little more expensive than I thought they would be, but not unreasonably so. Like for this place, I'm probably paying maybe about 30, 31 bucks a night Canadian. In other cities, I might be paying 25, 28, maybe even 22 or 20, depending. So yeah, but keep in mind, I am pretty much in the prime area. Like I'm in Gongbei Port, which is essentially right over the border in Hong Kong, where downtown is, where the major shopping areas are. Right, so you can't get much better location than this. What else do I need to tell you? Yeah, so the high speed rail is literally 5 minutes walking from here. You can get to the port of Macau. You can also take ferries. So there's a ferry terminal ferry that can take you to Macau, can take you to Hong Kong, can take you to Shenzhen. There's also buses from here that will take you to all those respective places and more. You can take a bus that will take an hour and a half or an hour and 40 minutes, and it costs 50 renminbi, which is about $10 Canadian one way to get to Shenzhen. So instead of taking the high speed rail, which might cost you, I don't know, 40, 60 Canadian, you can just take a bus. Obviously, well, it'll take a little bit longer, but it won't take that much longer. Getting to high speed rail, you have to get to there and then you have to pass security, even though it's not that much security. You have to wait, obviously, for the train, and then you have to get there a little bit earlier. So sometimes I actually find bus transportation to be more chill because you just show up at the bus, you load up your bags, and then you sit in your seat until you get to your destination. Um, I might go back to Shenzhen just to visit some friends and have dinner with them. I might not. So we'll have to see what I want to do there. And what else do you need to know about Zhuhai? There's no metro, just to let you know. So that was one thing that's a little bit disappointing. Maybe they just didn't find a need for it based on I don't know, the population, the demand. Hong Kong has a metro, Shenzhen has a metro, Guangzhou has a metro, and the city is kind of just surrounded by those three places. So maybe it's not necessary. But it would be nice to see in the future, obviously, so you can go to more places in Zhuhai. Taxis, and DDs remain relatively cheap. For me to get from one place to another, maybe it's like, I don't know, 10 bucks. I don't know, 10, 10 to 20 renminbi, which is like 2 to 4 Canadian. Yeah, like that cheap for someone to drive like 20 minutes. Um, yeah, so that's good. People seem very friendly. Oh, that's another thing that I should probably mention. People are really friendly here. They actually speak quite a bit of Cantonese because they just have to cater, I feel like, to the crowd that comes in here. So the influx of tourists from Hong Kong, from Macau, that typically speak Cantonese. So it's not unusual to go to a restaurant and have someone speak Cantonese to you, or even if they speak broken Cantonese or none at all, they understand it because they've been around it for long enough. Like my dentist today didn't speak it, but he understood me 100% just fine. So you'll meet people like that, which is pretty cool. Um, yeah, and overall, I think the vibes are pretty chill. Would I settle here? I don't know. You know, it's hard for me to say. Maybe not. Maybe. I think I probably like Shenzhen better just because it's like a bigger city and there's a metro and there's many different districts in Shenzhen. You know, there's also like a basically a foreigner town, if you will, in Shenzhen in Nanshan, where a whole bunch of foreigners kind of settle or live. Um, but you know, Zhuhai in its own respect has a very is a cool city. You know, it's a fun city to spend some time in, eat great food, chill out, not spend a ton of money. So you know, those are things I think that I can highly recommend to people. Yeah. Um, if you like this video so far, please like, comment, subscribe. I really don't know where I'm going with this video, but it would really help out the algorithm to boost my channel and to get more subscribership. I know this is a very unorthodox video compared to what I usually publish, but I thought this might be useful information for a lot of people that are wondering about Zhuhai and what it's like to be here, especially as a foreigner. So yeah, it's going to be me signing off now. Take care. I am probably going to do a little bit of work before I go to bed. Um, but yeah, I'm very blessed to be here. I'm very blessed to have this opportunity. Thank you so much, obviously, for tuning in, and peace.